First of all, thanks for coming. I've been to the shop, bloody love it. And I think it's good brand alignment for what we do and what you guys do at Pace. But yeah, just a little bit about us. We've been around for about 14, 15 years now. When we started off in Seven Hills in actually we started off at my parents' house in my living room, right? First day after I graduated uni, I was like, cool, I'm a physio, who needs physio? And then everyone's like, yeah, I'll come over. And literally was just treating people from my house. And it got weird because random started knocking on my door and going, hey, I heard you're a physio. So I ended up shifting that over to a place in Seven Hills. It was like top of a CrossFit gym at Seven Hills. This is where I met Muller, who I then owned CrossFit Rise and Conquer with. Long story short, it's been a long journey. And the whole reason why we do what we do is because we just love helping people. Love investing in people, in our patients, but also our staff and just the community. And so we've grown from like my little living room to now over 6, 7 locations, probably 8 by next week. And we love it. So we like doing this sort of stuff, and so we hope you get the most out of it. But today is really just about giving you a taste of what we're about. You know, I know that you've got members or clients that come through to your running group or to the shop that are going to be injured, and they're going to ask for suggestions and recommendations for products and whatever. And then the most frustrating thing is, as a client, you go in and you're like, fuck, I just wish someone could help me. And you get to a point where like you can only advise on what you know, but hopefully you can take from whatever you learned today to apply that to whatever you're doing when you're selling stuff, so you can serve your members and your clients better, right? So ask heaps of questions, engage. We're going to run through some practical stuff. We're also sending you like this little handout, which I've got on this iPad. Not sure if you guys got it, but you know, we're recording the whole thing. But if you haven't, this is a little handout, so you don't really need to take notes. If you want to book in, click the top. If you want to see the drill that we went through today, it's all there as well, all right? But the big problem is that our people need help. So today we're going to go through one thing that we believe is our point of difference at Proform, and it's based on the Franz Bosch dynamic systems model. And you know, most people really struggle to find physios that get running. And Andy he's my ride or die. He's been with me forever, but he's also a gun runner. He teaches running, very charismatic. He knows shoes. I think he talked your ear off for about 30 minutes just about his history with shoes. But he brings a lot of knowledge and experience to this space. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, if you have questions, let us know. We're probably going to ask you what you want to know from today anyway. But yeah, and if you want to tick that off, that would be good. So all you got to do, boys, is just get as much as you want out of tonight. It's all free, so yeah, let's get it going. Sound good? Mad, boys.
That actually might be a really good segue for me then, because like I mean, like part of these things, as Buzz was saying, right, is like a lot of the things that we value is just giving back to people and trying to, like, I guess, not only empower like the people that walk through these doors, but anyone that we want to go ahead and form alliances with and form relationships with, right? It's like we're very much along the lines of like the positive sum game. Okay, if we're going to engage in a relationship, everybody has to win. Okay, it's the rising tide. I guess the rising tide raises all ships, right? That's something that's key to our philosophy and what we do. I know we have something planned in terms of what we're talking about in particular. This idea of swing leg retraction, which if you haven't heard before, I'm going to explain it all. And as being probably one of like the keystone concepts that relate to, I'm going to say, like in my experience, like 95% of all runners that I treat in some way, shape or form, everything from plantar fasciitis to patellar tendonitis to lower back pain, swing leg retraction has its place, from a technical expression, but also from just how runners actually go about their business. And I feel like if you guys are equipped with those things, okay, you've got that extra little bit of value. That means that they go, well, next time they go to Pace, like these guys know exactly what they're talking about. Let's get involved with these guys. Let's go to these people as opposed to anyone else, you know. So first of all, we want to give you that value, and we hope it's really, really helpful for you. But also too, like this is a chance for us just to vibe. Like we've had pizza and beer, so like we're good to go. But I wanted to ask, and I'm going to ask you guys very, very plainly and directly, if there's certain things that you want to get out of tonight, certain expectations that you might have had. Within my presentation, I'll try my best to answer it, I guess, as we go on through. If not, we'll also try to address these things more towards the end, so you guys have a really clear answer as far as like what that is, and so that way you guys leave with the most amount of value. Does that sound cool? Yeah. Can I start with you first of all? So I'm not going to ask, does anyone have any questions, because everyone goes no. All right. But what's one thing that you want to get out of tonight? If there's one thing that we can cover tonight that's going to make this worth your time, what would that be?
Just having the confidence to be like ways to, I guess, help the customer
Mm-hmm.
In terms of we're on the spot there.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah, just to.
Okay, I'm going to write confidence here first of all, but I want you to continue.
Maybe start with the problem. Like,
Yeah.
what problems do you find
Yeah.
you have with people coming through the door?
People don't know how to run. no one, we get taught how to swim, we get taught how to do arithmetic, calculus. No one teaches us how to run. Yeah?
That's why
A lot of the time as well, I feel like people blame shoes on injury. When I think in my head it could be like form things of like the way they run and stuff like that. Like today we had someone who was talking about like her feet rolling out and saying, oh, the shoes.
I went to athlete's foot and they walked on that thing and they told me my feet rolled out. What do I do? Yeah.
But yeah, is it the shoes?
Yeah, is it the shoes? Yeah. I guess I'm actually going to talk about that, so this is good, all right? And yourself?
I'd love to know how we can, kind of coming back to that first point, is how can we be that touch point to help our customers learn how to be better runners?
Mm-hmm.
Because they come up and we don't have the skills, but we can give them just like pieces of advice that then leads them to come to the professionals to go, oh, awesome. Because we provide the expert in fit and the expertise in shoe tech, but then diagnosing, you know, their presentation, their injuries is something that we're not skilled in. So get the sense of where the industry is as a physio, like in physiotherapy. This is what your philosophy is. This is, you know, this is how you're treating your patients. Will give us this new world lens on how we see problems with our customers.
No, totally. And
Yeah.
like, look, I want to respect that too, because like, I think what I hear from you is like, okay, like once you sort of exceeded your scope, and once you've exhausted whatever your scope is, how do I ensure that I'm entrusting them to the right people?
Yeah.
Because like, let's be real. Like, I mean, that's how word of mouth stuff works, right? I guess if you give a recommendation and it turns out to be a poor one, that's a blemish on your name as much as it is on ours. You know what I mean? So we want to, like I said, going back to what I said before, this positive sum game idea, it's really important to us. And I'm really, really glad for the most part from what Buzz has been saying. Like, there's a lot of alignment here, and I feel like, you know, these things can help each of us grow, which is really cool. Now, what I've written down here, so if you can't read my horrible handwriting, that's okay. But I think it's, I guess, a lot of things around like confidence. Okay, like confidence. Okay, like what can I do more? How can I impact my client experience or my customer experience that much more? With some other things that are outside of the realm of just shoes. Okay, like if a shoe fits well and all the rest of the stuff. Because it's what we were saying before. Right? People coming in, they want the brand new Nike shoe because they saw that they're good and they've never worn a carbon plated shoe in their life, and they want to walk around the shops in it. It's like, well, like these things are a little bit weird. Like how can we ensure that we're providing like good, ethical, value-driven services that incurs repeat business and all those other things, which are really good. The thing about people not knowing how to run, okay, and like this is one of the things that I will sort of talk on a little bit, and it probably ties into this next point, okay. There are a couple of really, really easy tips and tricks that we often sort of revert back to, just to almost help us triage the type of issues that we're dealing with. Because, you know, going back to this idea, is it the shoes? Is it the loading schemes? Is it the amount of running that they're doing? Is it the amount of running that they're not doing? Is it the amount of cross-training that they're doing or not doing? You know, is it like, you know, is it something technical that needs to be developed within, and we need some form of coaching or some point of difference there to actually fill that gap? You know, all these things are really important. Now, with this one, I'm going to talk particularly about this because swing leg retraction actually affects how shoes wear. Okay, and I'm going to give you a couple of my insights as far as like what the wear patterns and how shoes tend to wear across time when you don't see swing leg retraction. Okay, so it's a really, really easy thing for you guys to pick up. And yeah, like it once again, another point of difference, especially with the way that depending on the sort of client that you're working with, especially if they're a little bit more seasoned or they're doing a bit more running, they're meant to be a little bit more efficient. There are certain things that you can see in a wear pattern which indicates that they're not actually doing the things that we're going to be talking about as well as we might otherwise like, therefore take pressure off the plantar fascia, therefore take pressure off the Achilles, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Is that enough, guys? Okay? So, okay, I'll endeavour to try to answer these as best as I can, all right, throughout the context of this presentation where they relate. I don't want to keep you guys sitting down for too long if I can. I'm going to try to keep my talking to a minimum. I think it's really, really useful with some of the drills that we've lined up for you guys that you can experience what, enhancing this concept actually feels like for yourself. So that way it gives you some extra tools to talk about with your clients. But then also too, like I said, because by doing something a little bit more practical, it gets you guys up and about. You don't have to listen to my boring voice. So we get to go from there. So,
Can I add one?
yeah, sure.
As someone who used to work at Athlete's Foot,
Yes.
if you were to work in a Pace Athletic store,
Oh, yeah,
how would you fit a customer in shoes?
Okay.
What are static tests that you would look at or you would do? Because we don't have treadmills, you don't have the gear that you've got here.
Yeah.
What are some things with the arch, the foot,
Yeah.
the loading that you'd be able to pull? That's
Yeah, straight off the bat. I'm going to put some notes for myself. Okay, just for myself. With these ones was like planus. Okay, functional flat foot. This is for me later because I don't want to forget. All right. Functional flat foot and super rigid arches. But then also too, pronation, is it good or bad? Okay, like this is a contentious one because like every physio seems to think pronation and inward rotation in the knee is bad and it's the devil and we should all get shoes around it,
it's natural.
Yes, exactly right. Okay, all right, I'll definitely get to this one and I'll make sure that we make some time for that, okay? So, if we start with this whole like swing leg retraction stuff, has anyone like just, there's only 3 of us, right? But have we come across this concept before?
I think so.
Yeah, well, like, explain, like.
Where it's like the back leg comes back up to like kick the butt basically. Is it that?
That's the first half of it, yes.
Yeah.
So that's
to like affect where you land and where you strike, I guess.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because in the context of running, right? Running, I believe, is a purely cyclic event. Okay. One thing that happens here, it affects the promotion of the next phase of that cycle, which then promotes the next phase of that cycle, which then promotes the next phase of that cycle, right? To put it in the context of weightlifting, all right, if your first pull is no good, that means you're going to work really, really hard during your second pull, which means then you're inefficient when it comes to your third pull, okay? But that started from the ground, okay? So when we're talking about the cycling of the swing leg, which in this instance is that leg, the leg that is moving in the air, that's not actually in contact with the ground. What we often find is that it needs to go through a series of steps, okay, to actually go through its arc, but also make sure that, okay, it's actually positioning the foot so it can land a hell of a lot more effectively, okay? We generally, when we talk about that idea, we're talking about, okay, well, what does landing effectively mean? Okay, typically it's things like, landing under the center of mass for the most part, correct? Is there anything else that you guys tend to look for, like in terms of like that level of efficiency, or is it just like?
I think like forward lean.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys
Yeah.
normally say is like, this is good running?
Yeah.
What do you see in good running?
We're just forward lean,
Tall posture.
Tall posture, all
Yeah.
right.
Minimal vertical displacement, yeah. What else? I'm out.
Yeah, keep going.
Like when you look at a pro on TV, like what's the things that they see consistently?
calm, relaxed running.
Yeah, nice.
Jelly face
Yeah.
is what we call it.
Yeah, they're not holding their traps.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like
jelly face, like everything like this, What else? Like just so I got an understanding where you guys are at too. Jelly face, land somewhere in the mid, land somewhere in the hip.
Like, when you're honest.
Or no, well, at the end of it, you look like shit.
Yeah, you got like the aim first before everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun. Beginner runners focus on the front half, what you can see.
Yep.
It's with anyone, like even bodybuilders, you focus on what you can see in the mirror.
What you can see.
Forget about the backup, right? Whereas I find pro runners, when I look at them, I'm like, oh man, my hamstring.
Backside mechanics.
Yeah, backside.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
What about it though? What do you notice with those guys?
But my legs don't go up to that height.
Yeah.
Same height.
Yeah,
Like,
you watch Kipchoge when he ran that sub 2 hour. Like, I mean, he was butt kicking the whole way.
butt kicking.
Yeah, butt kicking the whole way.
I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah, it's nuts, right? But I guess, obviously, like, he's the standout example. He's the standout technical example. And I think that's something that we all maybe aspire towards, but he's also gone through a whole bunch of training and conditioning to subject himself to be able to do those certain things. But it's good as a technical model because we need to have something that we can sort of otherwise view, Because at least, like, okay, I've been in the store, okay? I know what you're saying in terms of, like, what you have from an assessment point of view. A lot of it is largely static, okay? Because I believe the one at Military Road does that have a treadmill?
Used to.
Used to, okay, but
Yeah.
not anymore.
So stores haven't been conducive
Yeah.
for a treadmill, and also clients don't like running in front of other people.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
So in our new stores, they're going to be 5 times as big as any other pace store,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll have private running
Yeah, well, like,
where we can assess and they'll feel comfortable just running.
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Also,
no one wants
yeah,
to get on the treadmill and have it
in front of everyone in the
Yeah.
shop with a bunch of all these randoms. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? And look, I can totally appreciate. But even then, like even like you having that sort of idea in your mind, okay, it gives you some level of at least inference.
Yeah.
Okay, like you can infer from what it is that they're saying. Because if you look at like the opposite of all these things, okay, where you don't have that tall posture, it means you're sinking. Okay, if you have like if you have the opposite of vertical, I guess minimal vertical displacement, you're bobbing up and down. Okay, and you're getting very, very quaddy, very, very calfy, putting a lot of force into the ground, and every stride is laboured, right? If you're not landing under the centre of mass, you're over striding. Okay, if you're not at a jelly face, you're like really rigid and you're trying to run like this, okay? And all of those things, for at least from an inference side, because you guys understand running, and I guess for the most part, right? So if you guys understand this, you can like so take some level of inference. You can create a picture in your mind about how that person's at least likely to run, okay? So from that standpoint, if you got that guy who's the opposite of all these things, and they walk in and they say, I want a brand new Rebellion, please. Something that's really 4-footy, really toe in, all the rest of the stuff. You can say, tactfully, okay, like if they want to spend their money and buy a Rebellion, happy to do it, but you're not going to do it without first suggesting maybe a Clifton, maybe like say something with a straighter last, something that's a bit more conducive to where they're at in their running journey. Okay, they don't have to jump straight to the Rolls Royce. Okay, you can maybe facilitate that journey a little bit better with a better technical option. You know, but that's all through inference of like what would be considered like, you know, optimal. Maybe not perfect, but definitely optimal. Does that make sense? You know, you can totally do that, all right? And that might sort of answer part of that, but not entirely, okay? But let's flip back to swing leg retraction, all right? So when we look at swing leg retraction, particularly, like if I'm talking about the swing leg, okay, let's just say, for instance, that this is the leg that is in the air, okay? Whenever we refer to it in swing, the foot is off the ground. Swing leg retraction refers to this idea that when the hip is in flexion, so when the knee is coming up like this, okay, it's the retraction or the pulling back down of the thigh bone into extension, okay? So one of the things you notice, if I keep my foot passive, okay, the minute that my hammies and my glutes pull that down, that's where my foot goes, okay? It's underneath my foot, underneath my hip, sorry, okay? So the ability for me to use my posterior tissue, okay, in the back from swing to actually actively pull my foot down to the ground is this thing that we call swing leg retraction, okay? And I think, like I said, as we were talking about before, I would say for most runners, it is the governing principle that defines most aspects of performance and injury prevention. Because if you look at swing leg retraction, those that don't do it, okay, they crash and their posture drops, they bobble up and down, they land with their feet out in front of them, okay, and they're usually quite tense because like the running looks quite laboured by comparison, okay? So that idea of swing leg retraction is actually really, really important for the setup because everything about running is it's very transitional, okay? What you do on one foot, okay, is the setup for what you then do on the next foot and the next foot and the next foot and the next foot. And what the best runners typically do, while they may not be like super, super quick, they might be very, very efficient, and that saves them time over the course of their 5, their 10, their half marathon, and their full marathon. You know, because their economy of movement is that much better than that of the next person, okay, and therefore they can just continue to run very, very well most of the time, right? Now, with one of the things that I say with this swing leg retraction piece, right? Okay, swing leg retraction, okay, is not a passive process, okay? The way that we describe it is that it's actually a very active process. So it actually involves a lot of muscle activation from that posterior chain to actively pull that heel back down to the ground, okay? Because what happens when it becomes passive is that I get into this lovely swing leg position, okay, and my leg just kicks on out, but if that hammy's not doing its work to pull that foot down to the ground, there's only one place that I can go, and that's down like this, okay? The foot lands out in front, creates braking forces, a lot of anterior pressure on the knees, flat foot, more contact time, all those things that lead to all those big no-nos that we typically experience as physios. And people are coming into you, it's like, my plantar fascia hurts, my Achilles hurts, all that other stuff, all those things that you would see at shop front, okay, and what they're complaining of, you know, and you've got to try to make a decision in and around that about how you serve them best. Okay, so to recap on like swing leg retraction, okay, like, so does that, as far as like the concept concerned, does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, does anyone have any sort of questions or comments about that? I sense one. Maybe I can extract that.
Why is it important?
Yeah, so this is what we're going to move into, right? So, all good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So like, that's it in theory. Us saying to a customer, need to improve your swing leg retraction.
I understand.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Or are you just like, are you asking how to identify it?
Yeah, what are the cues? What are the cues you use as a coach,
Like
as
just,
a physio?
ooh, okay. Might hang on to that because
Yeah,
that's
sure.
where we're going to move into,
Sure.
especially when we go into the practical side of things about how we actually go about working through it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think like the big things that I think goes back to what we were saying here in terms of like the inferences, like what sort of picture are we creating about this runner and how it is that they're doing. It's likely that they're not doing this thing. Okay. So even just having the conversation about it might actually be your starting point. It's like, okay, like tell me about how does it feel when you're running? Do you feel, what's your cadence like? Like what are the things about your running and your running experience, okay, that might give you a deeper picture about what that actually looks like. And if it keeps coming back up and they're mentioning these sorts of things, look, I mean, I've been trying to get my technique sorted for ages. I keep getting these persistent injuries and all the rest of that stuff. I think that then gives you an opportunity to say, well, look, these guys at Proform talk about the swing leg retraction business all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you that opportunity to then perhaps refer on.
Awesome.
You know.
You must see a lot of clients who come to you like, oh, I start running and I'm getting knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break that down?
Interesting. Like,
Great question.
yeah, that's I guess it's a loaded question, but
I can give you like,
yeah.
what I would say.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to picture myself in your shoes.
Mm.
Because you're asking this as like, you're in the store.
Yeah.
customers coming.
Because the first question I'd be asking you, and you probably do ask this, is like, what's your running experience? How long have you been
Mm.
Right. If someone says to you, well, I've only just started, then one of the things you're probably thinking of is, okay, well, I want to know how quickly these legs are ticking over. Because most people who start running are kind of like really like heavy, so you can expect the cadence that's going to be a little bit lower. But we want to see a cadence a bit higher, like 180 beats per minute, steps per minute, right? And so when you see that they're up towards that, then you can expect, or you can infer, without looking at them, you can infer that they're retracting their leg fast enough to then get to the next leg. If they're not retracting their leg fast enough, there's a lot of ground contact time, so you're spending a lot of time on the ground and less time ticking another leg over. So the first question I'd be like, what's your experience with running? How long have you been running for? And then I'd be asking, okay, so what sort of speed are you running at? Okay, if someone's running really fast, okay, like 4-minute splits, but their cadence might be at like, I don't know, 150.
Yeah.
Then I know they're not retracting. They're just overstriding really far.
Yeah, they're
putting
long
as much
striders.
force into one
Yeah.
step to propel into the next one. And they're literally like bounding, right? Versus ticking over fast and retracting and getting that leg under them faster.
That's a lot of
So
stress.
that would be my steps, and that's just like one way to discover that. Another way to do that is to look at running. And it's really hard in the store if you don't have this concept of what you're looking for in the run, to then look at the run and break it down and go, well, here's what I see and here's what I recommend. But at least this is a little step in that. But that would be one of the ways I would identify it.
Are people usually forthcoming with that sort of data with you guys?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I get someone who comes in, I get knee pain,
Yeah.
and I empathise,
Yeah, of course.
encourage, like you're on an awesome path and through pain. Now, you only experience pain because you're coming out of your comfort zone, but let's look at your load. If you go from here to here, you're going to experience pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So load is one way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then cadence, like, show me, are you on Garmin? Are you on, like,
Yeah.
are you on Strava? Let's have a look at your cadence and let's improve your cadence maybe like 10%
Yeah.
at a time, because like 180, because it's like, oh yeah,
180, yeah.
And like if I'm at 160 or 150, getting to 180 is impossible.
Yeah.
So let's try 155,
Yeah.
160,
160, yeah, exactly right.
Let's just like,
Yeah.
improve that slowly. And if you're still getting knee pain, like let's look at some other things as well.
Totally.
And then shoes, if you look at the research, right? Like,
What's the research there?
so if you have a shoe that has a little bit more of a heel drop,
Yeah.
right? Really good for your Achilles, like it puts pressure off the Achilles. But now you're literally wearing weightlifting shoes.
Yeah.
So what do we know about weightlifting shoes is when you wear a heel, you put more pressure through the front of your quads. So now your quads are taken over, which may lead to knee pain. Not necessarily all the time, but generally speaking, it puts more pressure on the knee.
Yeah,
So
totally.
even though you're offloading one area, you're going to have to overload another.
Yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to then figure out, well, how do I then balance and share the load, which is where swing leg retraction comes into the picture.
Yeah.
Because as you just said, not many people know how to bring the hamstring and the back of the body into the equation. All they know is calf raises,
Yeah.
like leg press,
Minimum 25.
squats,
Like lunges. Yeah.
lunges. They don't know how to use their tendons effectively.
No
And
way.
that's where swing leg retraction helps set them up for that. So Andy's going to go now and talk about why swing
Yeah.
leg retraction is important.
Yeah, epic.
Yeah.
We hear lazy glutes all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's like a cheap cop out from
It's a cheap
it's a very
cop-out,
dated
yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
And then it's like a quick cover approach. Like, yeah, it's your glute or glute med.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the main reason why swing leg retraction is?
Yeah, like
What does it do?
the biggest thing that it does, right? I guess with this whole swing leg retraction component, right? By having the leg cycle on through and using the hammer to actually set that up, right? What actually ends up happening is that prior to landing, okay, because of that active process, you actually position like the joints and the limbs in a position where you can actually use more muscles, right? This is a concept that we call co-contractions, okay? So you know that saying like many hands make light work? Okay, it's very, so when we talk about efficiency and economy, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? So I guess in the theory is, and this is what we see in practice all the time, is that when you get people using these concepts, right, and actually activating more muscles at the same time, what you actually get is two things that happen. One is this thing called joint coupling, and the other thing is called force sharing. So we'll go back to your example of the guy with knee pain, okay? And let's say he's the long strider, he's the 150 beats per minute guy, right? But also running 4-minute splits. How is he doing this, right? So usually in the long strider, the guy that doesn't actually get that swing leg retraction component in, when they're overstriding, oftentimes, because they're not doing it, all that force is going this way and they start loading into this knee, okay? A lot of knee flexion starts to occur, a lot of ground contact time, that starts to increase, and we start putting a lot of extra load on this patellar tendon, right? And we're asking this one quad to cop it all. Right? That's what we're asking it to. Hey quad, save my knee. That's effectively what we're telling the body, all right? But with this swing leg retraction, purely from a positional point of view, okay, in terms of where the joints sit, okay, and from there how it sets up like the length tension relationship within the muscles, okay, or like what the actual length of the muscles at certain times. Certain lengths will determine how much force they can actually go ahead and produce, and this thing here puts it in an optimal position, okay? But it has to happen prior to landing, because if it happens after landing, I mean, contact times for like most runners, like even like say novice runners, they're in like the 350 to 250 second millisecond, 250 to 350 millisecond range. It's nothing, right? Like there's not enough time to actually reactively deal with that, right? Unless you have a considerable amount of like muscular load on top of that, right? Okay, so that's why the setup is so important. So the pre-tensioning needs to occur prior to landing, okay? And it usually happens about about 10 to 12 degrees of knee flexion, something like that,
yeah.
just before the foot hits the ground. So that way it's organized, so when it hits, it doesn't break like a wet noodle. Okay, that's the idea, okay? So I guess the swing leg retraction, first of all, has a number of like efficiency benefits, but the prime one that we use it for in the context of the clinic is to make sure that all those muscles in the leg are doing their job at the right time, okay? That's your quads, that's your hammies, that's your calf, that's the front of your shin, it's your foot musculature, all that other stuff is in the best position where it can actually load effectively. So that way it takes the pressure off that knee pain, or it takes the pressure off that plantar fascia. We've got countless examples where like you get people that come in, they report with this knee pain business, right? And then immediately, actually I had it with Khan. Oh no, it was Ricky. So he came in, his was an shin splints issue. Shin splints, right? And he came in, he's like, man, I can't, we made him run in the hallway, and he ran like a rhinoceros, up and down. All right, and I just said, bro, hold my phone. Okay, I want you to run at 180 beats per minute. Okay, and I put a metronome on him and said, and I just want you to run at that beat. And he's like, okay, right? And then he did it, and he's like, I've got no pain, right? And it's not because there's something magical about that 180 beats per minute number, but the external cue of him trying to keep to beat made him actively put his foot down to the ground, therefore engaging that swing leg contraction component so he can get the force coupling, the force sharing and the joint coupling, okay? And therefore, like how he loads through shin is a hell of a lot more efficient. You know, he's a big guy, he's coming through, he's crashing through like this, a lot of pressure on those shins, but you remove that. Okay.
What's joint coupling?
Oh, so like it's getting like joints to work together, like more joints to work together effectively. Okay, I should have explained that before. Sorry.
Let's pause and let's regather so everyone's on the same page. So there's a few terms Andy mentioned. The first one was that swing leg retraction was important because it helps to pre-tension the leg. Okay? The example I would say would be something like, you guys have been across it, right? And when you go to pick up a barbell from the ground, you don't just yank it off the floor, right? Because there's slack in that bar. You need to pick up the slack first before then the bar starts to move off the ground. Pre-tensioning picks up the slack in muscles. Muscles aren't always ready to go. So when Andy was talking about like that leg coming like this hamstring is literally sitting like this. So you need to create tension for that hamstring to go cool, I'm ready to go. And then the moment it hits the ground, it's at an optimal length tension
Position,
for it to then actively work. So we understand muscle slack, pre-tensioning helps pick up slack. Now you talk about optimal range of muscles to work. So again, in the gym, doing a bicep curl here versus a bicep curl here versus a bicep curl here, completely different. Same weight, really hard here, but somewhere in the middle, this is where you feel the strongest. The same goes for a hamstring. Trying to do a hamstring retraction back here, really hard. Trying to do it here easy, and then here again, easier again, right? To be able to curl here. So retraction helps pre-tension to set up the muscles to do work, picks up the slack. Then it helps them all, not just the hamstring, but all the muscles get into the right length tension so that at that position, they're all in that mid-range to work. So then they can all share the load properly. Does that make sense? So joint coupling is more to do with if my hips set up well, my knees set up well. My hips not set up well, my knees not set up well. So we want to be able, so if you're talking about upright running, I'm not going to be running down here because this is an extension that's in flexion. If I'm in flexion, this has to be in flexion. If I'm in flexion, that's an extension, I can't run like this. So joint coupling is about them both coupling together to do the same thing. Flex, flex, extend, extend. So that's the whole importance of swing leg retraction.
Especially like you guys watch sports like footy, and you see how many times a player like makes a break, they sprint, and they just fall to that hamstring. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of time when you watch like video analysis, they won't have that joint coupling, either their hips in the wrong position or they're trying to evade another like opposition player. There's some things not in the right position. A lot of the times hamstrings blow, especially under fatigue, because the muscles just either have too much slack, they're cooked, and then things just don't go right. So that's an example of like just things not working well.
Okay. Now, as far as like what we've covered swing leg retraction, what it is. We've covered swing leg retraction, why it's important. Okay. We've also covered what swing leg retraction isn't. Okay, which I think is probably going to be the thing that's going to help you guys the most. Okay, as far as and how it actually manifests in like footwear and running mechanics and all those other things, right? So right now, do we have any further comments on this? Is there anything further that we can clarify based on the things that we've covered thus far before we start doing some exercises?
Like, does that make sense for like you guys? Someone comes in and they're like, have a look at my running.
Totally.
Yeah. Once again, still hard for you guys just because of how you guys are set up.
And like we do, like we've got coach's eye.
Is that the filming one?
Yeah. And we can look at people walk, but they're not running at all. It's not the same. Like you can see a little, like this helps for like particularly like single leg load, and like you can see how they're moving, and maybe if they're like not on train tracks, so you can show the customer, hey, look, this, but it's not the same as running.
Not the same.
It's a different load, different movement.
It's also
but when we do get set up, I think this would be really interesting.
Are you guys also thinking? I know we're segueing, but I guess are you guys also thinking of just having treadmills, or will you have a running track?
Treadmills. A track would be awesome if we had a space that big.
Yeah, of course.
But that's a dream to have a track inside the store.
Because I feel like sometimes even treadmills will also like turn things over a little bit because like the treadmill will run for you. You know, because the ground is moving under you, right? So it does change things a little bit. Same with those banana treadmills too. The assault runners.
The free runs.
Flat ones.
I'm not sure yet. What would you recommend?
Oh, good question. I think I guess for me it's always overground running because that's what they do. Like, and they have to propel over the ground. You know, that's always my best option. Treadmill will be a close second. Okay, if that's all you got. But a good open treadmill where you got space to actually view and actually monitor and good camera set up both side on and behind. You know, and I guess those things are a lot more available nowadays. They're also better for space and all this other stuff.
Ones are also a lot more expensive.
Yeah, but I think for what they do, they alter the mechanics too much because they actually get you to hit high on the treadmill to get them moving. So the flatter ones are always better.
We work closely. Like our Waverley store's got a really good relationship with the running room in Clovelly. And they've got those special treadmills that pick up load energy. So that's cool.
But
But when we're not in the that's not our.
Dude, that's a big expense. Yeah,
it's
it's massive overhead.
But yeah, one day.
One day. One day. I'd love an
day.
altitude
But
treadmill. That'd be great.
That's awesome.
Nothing beats just watching running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can pick up so much, you know, really like, you know, we can pick up so much just by viewing them.
Yeah.
Because it mimics what they're doing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. That's it. So, happy with all this stuff so far, guys? All right. It's time to actually torch your hamstrings now, okay? So, yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're going to test
Yeah.
how good your swing leg retraction is.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, how would you test it?
Well, like I said, so there's a couple of things that we put in here specifically more so for you guys, because there's a variety of different ways, but things that don't occupy a whole bunch of space, okay, which are really, really easy to administer, all right, but also give you a great deal of inference. Now, the way that we've actually outlined in the document you guys have received is 4 tiers of which you could do that range from simplicity to complexity, okay? Simple stuff being isolating the hamstring, because that is the key driver in this instance, okay? What is the action of the hamstring doing to pull this thing down? And then from there is like from the more complex things, what are the things that look more like running that you could potentially do within store to get an idea of how this person moves, okay? So we're going to take you from from beginning to end. All right, hope you guys, like I say, haven't jumped too much, and we'll get in from there. So let's go. Can we get some foam rolls up? Yeah. So
Foam rollers?
yes, please, sir. So we're all going to give this a try, okay? So no one gets away scot-free. So we're going to do this first exercise, which is called a long lever glute. Can I borrow your surf? That's okay. Now I might get a mat out too because I'm nice.
That's right.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yep. Now in store, okay, look, we're going to use foam rollers here because we find that this is best practice, okay? Because one of the things, I guess, and I'll explain to you as we do it, right, okay, is like how the interaction between your forefoot and your hamstring and hip extension is the thing that we're trying to develop, okay? So, do you reckon I can get you the line to your back, please, sir? No, this one's fine. This one's fine for now. All right, this is where it's going to get fun. Now, how strong do you reckon your hammies are, my man? So? We'll see. All right. So how we're going to set you up, sir, is okay, we're going to place a foam roll underneath the ball of your foot, so I'm going to get you to bend up. Now, general rule with the setup, okay, when we look into this particular test, every test that we do is an exercise, every exercise that we do is a test, okay? If you can remember that, it will serve you well, all right? So, if we bring it close to the bum, it's going to be easier. If we take it further away, it's going to be harder. Now, ideally, when it comes to like running and the use of the hamstring here, we want to try to get that knee angle around that 20 to 15 degrees that I mentioned beforehand, okay? So ideally, the further we go out, the better, okay? But just for the case in point, I'm going to keep you at somewhere neutral, so that way you know what's up, okay? Can I get you to hold this knee up at 90 degrees for me, please, sir? So it's off the ground, okay? Hands on the floor as best you can. And I actually want you to use your hands. I want you to push through the floor, okay, and I want you to lift your bum up into the air. Okay, hold that there as high as you can go. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, sir, come back on down. Where do you feel that working?
On the hamstring.
Mostly in your hammies, right? Okay. Is it pretty intense?
Yeah.
Yeah, relatively, right? Because when we think about other forms of hamstring loading, right, we often think about like deadlifts, we think about kettlebell swings, all these other things, right? But for something that just requires a bloody foam roller or a soccer ball or something like that, you can actually elicit a lot of hamstring function for not a lot of kit, all right? Now, this is where it gets a bit like more fun, okay? We have a criteria for any of our clients that are coming through who are runners, regardless of their pain status, whether it's a hammy strain, whether it's a knee thing or foot stuff, okay? To make sure that this thing is at a capacity which is suitable for what it is they're doing, we like to see 25 on a single leg as a minimum. Okay? Do you reckon you got 25 in you?
25 seconds?
25 reps.
Oh, yeah. Repetition.
Okay.
I'm going to put you, because you look at lead, we're going to put you
that's
20 degrees.
Yeah. So we're going to bring you out a little bit further. Now alright, where are we? Okay, let's go from there, sir.
So this is how much knee bend normally you'll have during your run.
There's 1, and there's 2. We're going to go 25, 3, 4, 5, keep going, 6, 7,
Approaching Cramp City.
8, 9, 10, you're not halfway there, 11, 12,
Is it too late to say that?
13,
All the way, bro, all the way.
14,
That's it.
On my 3 hands?
15,
This way?
16, 17,
All the way.
18, nice and high, 19,
All day.
20, 5 more,
All day.
1, 2,
Damn, son.
3, 4, and 5. Wonderbar. Now, how's that hammer of yours feeling, dude? It's on fire. Okay. Like I said, that's the beauty of this thing, right? Like I said, I mean, like like I said, I could make you deadlift, I can make you do all these other things, right? Okay, but with the use of a foam roller, I can get something that is not only specific to the tissue in question, okay, but also something that is like hip extension, okay, which is like really that component, that propulsive component of running, okay, at joint angles, which are a little bit more specific, okay? So if we were to see like a major deficit there, okay, let's just say you got 12 and you're like, cramp, blah, blah, blah. I might be thinking, okay, well, from a hardware perspective, this hamstring isn't doing enough, or it's not actually a stage where it can do enough, okay? So they can't do a lot of that swim leg retraction stuff, okay? And then it's a decision about, okay, well, are you going to want to improve that so that way you can wear your speed goats or whatever low profile shoe that you want to wear, okay? Or is it something that you're not going to work on and it's 1080s for you? You know what I mean? Or it's Clifton's for you, or Bondi's for you, whatever the case is, you know? So, how's it feel, dude? Do you reckon there'll be a difference from side to side?
I reckon.
You reckon?
I had an ACL recon on this one.
Oh, it must have a good rehab. Must have a good rehab. Not too bad. Do you want to have a go, bro? Yeah. Switch! Do you want to set up the other one, bro, while we're here? Like the hurdle? Because the next one's a hurdle one, right?
Yeah. Set up next one's on the acrobatics.
Right there.
Variability, so like a progression of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might give him the progression now.
Yeah. Okay, so
Variability one.
very good, sir. Do you want to do aquabag shakes or you want to do aquabag holds?
We'll get him holding and then fluctuation.
Okay, very good. So, right, now this time I'm going to go left leg because I'm all about change. All right.
Let's talk maybe about acrobags and
Yeah.
why we're going to do it. But
Okay.
we'll do it while he's holding.
Have you guys seen one of these?
Now, so
Go on Buzz's Instagram, go
can I get you like to pop it in his hands if that's okay?
on. Okay.
So we're going to start with the hold first of all, okay? Now, these are fun, okay? Now, what I'm going to get you to do, so first of all, I'm going to get you to try to get up and hold in that position for me, okay? And we're going to get you to try and do like about 10 reps or so. There's 1, okay? 2, okay. Now, as you're doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit, right? Now, this is one of the fundamental fundamental things that we use a lot in this clinic, right? We call this perturbation training, right? The beauty of perturbations is that what you get is repetition without repetition, okay? So there's a high level of variance, okay? The beauty of variance is that from a motor control perspective, okay, we're actually trying to encourage like him to discover different strategies to get the same result, which is in this case hip extension. So from a cueing and a motor learning perspective, if I'm trying to get people to ingratiate movements and muscle function into something that's more complex like running, okay, this gives us a really good standpoint for that. But more importantly, we talked a little bit before about these things that Buzz was talking about, like the joint coupling and the force sharing. That comes through co-contractions, okay? And one of the things that we know that in the research is that if there's more variance, there's more perturbation, one of the things that it actually drives is more co-contractions, okay? Because underneath that variable stimulus, the body's like battling to overcome this chaos, so it's actually trying to enforce more stability, okay? And I would say, like, I don't know about you boys, but I guess I tend to use it quite a fair bit to almost panic someone into using the correct form, because like if you can't use your hamstring and I perturb the crap out of it effectively, okay, you're going to find your hammy really quickly, otherwise you're going to fall down like a wet noodle, and it's going to be very clear to that person that that is something that needs work. Okay, so it's great from an intrinsic motivation point of view, but also at the same time I'm identifying their potential weaknesses, which gives me as a physio a lot of room to work with, because okay, that's a thread that I can pull on to make this person better.
Especially very fast without having to do like 100 tests.
Yeah.
So let's do that again, because the video has his knee doing like the fluctuation of the knee.
Yep.
But what we'll get him to do is we'll just
You're a bad man. Okay, so this time what you're going to do instead of reps, okay, I want you to hold your hips in extension as high as you can go, right? But then your end points is that I want you to be able to then tap this side of the bag to the floor, bring it on back, tap the other side of the bag to the floor, bring it on back, but you, it's got to be a tap. It's got to be a tap, whilst this is while your foot's on the wall here. So hold strong, high. Okay, lift the sky up nice and high. Go. Good. Tap.
Keep hips up.
Good. Now you've probably got a better view of this, right? You can see what happens to his core when this stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, how much of a struggle it is for his such core to keep him stay. So, you know. So what we have now, like, so jump on down. So this is not just hard for the sake of hard, okay? What with this, it's like it's about trying to integrate the things that are going to be effective for running. Because the thing is, like, as a runner, you have to be able to handle rotation at toe off. Okay, that's one of the key rules that we look for. So you're not splaying around all over the place, and that's governed mostly by your trunk. Yeah. So can you keep your trunk engaged while keeping good tension through your hamstring and keeping your pelvis in a good position. That's what we're asking the body to do, okay? And that has a clearer runway into running as opposed to leg curls. You know, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so leg curls are great.
You think about your trail runners, right? These
That's what I'm
guys are running on a flat surface the whole
Yeah,
way.
they're rock hopping.
They're dodging and moving and swaying side to side, trying to accommodate to the terrain. So the position of their trunk's always going to be different. How do you train that if you're just doing calf raises, hammy curls, and all that? Right? This is how you do it. You add variability. So Steve, you're going to do the hardest one. And your hip, you're going to do single leg, hip up high, don't let it drop, and your target is to stay off the little ball. And then, yep, a good ball. You normally hit the ball with your hip. And so we like being a little specific with like rehab is that like you got to make the targets as clear as possible. Because his bum hits the ball, it's not a rep. We're seeing, what was your name again, Migs? Yeah. We go. Your hips are dropping, so this makes sure that Steve has a tactical cue to make sure his hips not dropping. That's number one. Secondly, his pressure through the foot, where should it be? When you're on the floor, where should it be? So on the foam roller, not heel on the foam roller, we're thinking mid-foot,
This is us.
right? So Steve, right knee up to the ceiling, let's just get you, so right knee up.
Let's go.
Your hamstring there. Okay, cool. So what you're going to do now is you're going to stop. So Migs had to tap the floor. You have to stop just before the floor as quick as possible. Just stop it on your right. Hold there. Good. Back to center.
Good.
Now left. Good. Back to center. Hands off, Andy. Good.
Go hard.
Good.
2 each side. Yep. 2 more. Last one.
Good.
And resting. Yep.
Not bad at all, sir.
1 more. And rest. Yeah, chill out.
Very good.
And you know you're talking about the activation drills earlier? And you see how that sounds very static, doesn't it? It's very, like, I would say, reductionist.
Yeah.
This is incorporate, like you're getting the whole body to work as a symphony, right?
This is so good because
Symphony, great words, Chris.
Yeah.
Great word, Chris.
So can you summarize some of those points? Co-contractions, perturbations.
So co-contraction is very important for sharing load. Okay, just remember, many hands make light work. Okay, if more things are on, more things are protected. Okay.
How do we build co-contractions?
how close do the co-contractions like?
Ooh, so how close do they need to be to in proximity to one another? Well, like, look, I think what ends up happening is that, like,
could be like, I don't know.
You feel your core
My cores.
yeah.
Is this a co-contraction?
Totally, yeah.
That was intentional.
Yeah, 100%. So that was the setup, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes it's not necessarily a matter of proximity, but it's almost like what works together, like you know. Because like the thing is, like you need your core to tension, okay, to create stability on your main pillar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every time you hit, you just break. Yeah, you definitely need that sort of stuff. So like, you know, it's like it's almost like a symphony, okay. Every instrument has its function, okay, especially in the case of the human body with muscles, okay. Just like in a symphony, there's big instruments that make loud noise, okay. There's small instruments that make small noise, okay. There are some that are just like little triangles, okay. But in the context of everything, they all have their place. Okay. Now the beauty of this is that what we also probably didn't talk about nearly as much. It's not just a matter of everything needs to be on at 100%. There's a level of synchronicity, much like music. Okay. In order to get the right amount of contraction, there needs to be timing. There needs to be synchronicity. There's a level of skill that's involved with this coordination. Okay. Much like the case with like efficient runners. Okay. Like you can't just run with your glutes on all the time. They need to be on at certain moments. You know, they're critical moments where force is impacting. So you would have found that your core would have been on the most when you had to stop. Okay, not so much when you're holding. It's kind of cool here, and then like you have to do that sort of stuff. It's the same that when your body's getting ready to accept load when your foot hits the ground.
So in that PDF that we've sent you guys, you'll see that like this is the first kind of category of training, which is more the simpler, less complex side, which is we're just focusing on the individual muscle here. So the muscle in target right now is just the hamstring, and we're training the isometric conditions of the hamstring.
Yeah.
It's another topic, but essentially the hamstrings need to have really good isometric capacity in order to swing leg on track.
And this is what we recommend to a lot of runners, but also trail runners too.
Right.
Because
it's really important, right? But it's not through hamstring curls, it's through treating it like a rope, which is another topic. But
Because curls are going for shortening and lengthening the muscle.
Whereas retraction is same length through.
Yeah.
So this is one way of training.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
so you'll see that you asked about co-contractions, but in phase one or it's category one, it's individual muscles. Then it goes to local attractors, so co-contractors around one joint. Then global attractors, co-contractors across multiple joints. And then finally total movement patterns, which is running, which is co-contractions as per your running style.
Yeah.
So
So
depending on the phase of where someone's in, will depend on what exercise we're given. Generally, if they're injured, we'll start on the side.
More on that side, yeah.
Right? If people aren't injured and they want to run better, we'll start on the right and we'll work backwards.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the most complex. Oh, you can't do that? Let's go to oh, you can't do that? You can do that? That's where we start.
Yeah.
This is where your rehab begins. Not down here where it's
Do a
so
calf
simple.
raise.
It's like someone asking you, how do I solve an algebra equation? And then you go, before we begin, you need to learn how to add and do 2 plus 2. And that's what a lot of physios will do, is they'll go, hold on a second, you've got to do 15 calf raises first before we even talk about doing
Yeah. We're not naming names. Like,
No,
that's what happens. Is, you know,
Yeah.
like you get an ultra marathoner come in
Yeah.
and I want to run, or I'm training for a 100k run.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, your calves are a bit weak. Let's do some calf raises. I'm like,
Yeah.
Great, but what else?
What else?
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is where the industry is failing runners.
Physio tell you that.
I just paid $180.
Oh, tell me.
The doctor tells you to take Panadol.
Chris, can you get us plate? 20 kilo plate. You got to set up the
Oh, it's
same.
outside. 20 kilo.
20 kilos.
Damn.
Thank you.
Both of them, right? Both of
Just
them.
one, because I've got.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to make it a little bit more active, okay? Because this is like all the static stuff, okay? But we're going to do something a little bit more like more dynamic, okay? To really try to drive like what we were sort of describing more so in the action of it, which is this dynamic, active extension of the hip, pulling of the foot back underneath the body, right? So this is where it's going to be fun. And let's see if I can do this in RMs.
That hasn't been used since lockdown.
Yeah, we need another plate.
Another one?
Just another dumbbell to start the plate moving.
And hurdle, no hurdle.
Where's it really?
Yeah, it's good. Will the hurdle cover that? Yeah, it'll be right.
Oh, we're going to slam board. You want to slam board?
You have a slam board?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, what do we do? This is a ghetto child over here.
I was like, what?
I'm from Blacktown.
We're making our own stuff.
Not these.
Bought one to do my dorsiflexion pedals.
Okay, so like, it's a rocky one.
Definitely not a slam board. But
Okay, but
Rocking board.
no, we'll stick
we'll
with
stick with the Evenco. Okay,
Get one for a penny.
so
this. Is it?
no, I understood. All right. No, that won't cover it. Yeah, I guess it's already too hard, but that's okay. Now, you might have seen just how I was demonstrating really quickly, right? Just like what, say, like this particular motion looks like, okay? So like we were talking about swing leg retraction, to go over again. The motion is this. It's like active extension of the hip, all right? So how can we embed that? How can we integrate that into practice, right? And one of the drills that we often go to actually get people to experience these things, because going back to this runner that's a dog runner or a novice runner who doesn't know anything what they're doing, a lot of the fun, like I know as a coach, one of the things that we really struggle with is actually giving them something to compare it to. What experience can we give that is comparable to the skill or the task that they want to do, so they can actually build their own like mental picture around what it looks like, right? Because I know you boys in the gym, right? If you're coaching people, how many times do people say chest up when they're squatting, and then something weird happens? It's like everything outside of chest up happens, but not chest up when you're squatting. It's like, oh, that's what chest up means. And suddenly there's this big realization moment. So we generally find with a lot of these drills, they actually provide people with experience, okay? Like this is what it's kind of meant to feel like. It might be a hazy picture, it might be a pixelated image of like what it actually looks like, but it's something that they can then base their learning off, okay? So what we're gonna do from here, and I'm gonna encourage everyone to give this a try with a variety of different means, right? The actual drill itself is that if I'm here like this, my job is to take this foot and step it over, okay, and land it, okay, onto this slant board, okay? So it's not just a matter of like stepping up like this and going back over it. I actually want to be here moving forward, okay? So you can almost like see with the way that the slant board is set up, there's actually this, what we call like a negative position where it's moving backwards in space, okay? Because that's what the hamstring is actually doing, okay? Sorry? Very A-skippy, very A-skippy. It's almost like an A-skip to a plate, okay? With that same sort of idea, okay? So I can make it a little bit easier by coming closer, okay? Over the top of it. I can make it harder by moving it away, and then try not to fall over. Okay, so that's the drill in and of itself. Okay, it's going to give you a chance to experience what the active mode of swing leg retraction is like. But to make it actually harder / easier, we're going to get you to do it with an aqua bag on. Okay, because you'll actually find going to some of the stuff that Buzz was saying, with more of these perturbations on your shoulders, you're going to feel your abs lock up a lot more. It's going to make your pelvis a lot more stable, which is going to make this a lot easier while at the same time making it harder. You're up, sir. Let's see how you go. Let's go. All right, we've signed waivers yet? So can I get you a bag onto your back for me, please, sir? All right, and I want you to step just a little bit closer, okay? And I want you to, like, if I use strength conditioning terms, like a B stance, that makes sense? Okay, more like this. Okay. So a split stance, okay? And then you're gonna go and you're gonna come over with your left foot first of all, okay? And land in. That's it, all right? But it's gonna be up and over. That's your practice. Good. Actually got it. Good. 3 more. Good. See how it's going backwards? Do you feel your hammy bite?
No.
Good. Try again. Good. All right. And lucky last one, sir. Not too bad at all. Can I make it harder for you? Is that okay? All right. This time I want you to go like this. I want you to grip these guys, this side of the bag. So you grip it here. So you're holding like this. All right. All right. This is to make your abs work a little bit harder. Okay. So as you step over, so you're going to step over onto your right side, correct? Okay. As you step over, I want you to turn the bag over your right side. Okay. So this way. Okay. So that's where you're going to face.
Yep.
All right. So once you're ready, hit and turn. Good. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
right.
almost broke for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how we know you did a good rep.
You're gonna look like a statue.
It's all right. It's all right. This is learning. This is learning. All right. Up and over. Up and over. Up. Good.
1. No rep.
No rep.
2 seconds.
1, 2. Good. All right. 2 more. 1, 2. Good. All right. 1, 2. Good. Well done, my man.
Nice.
All right. How about you? All right.
So how would we make it harder for you then?
So first was the distance,
Yeah.
then the aqua bag.
Yeah.
Top back leg, just bring it back along.
Yeah.
And then it was the twist.
How did the twist feel? Just so.
It was different.
Yeah.
A lot of difference to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like adding distractions to see what your body naturally does. And then it's like putting your body not in a fight or flight mode just yet, but you kind of, because you can cheat.
Yeah.
You can overthink it and go, cool, I can show the physio, I can show my running coach what it is, but when I throw these other distractions, there's no hiding these deficiencies in
Yeah,
movement.
because if you've mastered it, you can do it under a variety of situations,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
if you've mastered it in road running, okay, how well are you able to apply it to trail, which is a different context altogether, right? So like these sorts of things are, I guess assistive in the mastering element. Okay, it's like I can do this thing, okay, but I can do it under multiple condition. Okay, multiple condition. So I've got variance and I've got resilience in that particular concept. Okay, and that really makes you, from an efficiency standpoint, a very well-rounded athlete. Okay, not so much. All right, one more try. Do you want to give it a try, sir?
I'd say
It's
one of the
it's increasing your arsenal when you're talking, bro. Because like if you only everything you've got.
Have a go, mate. Yeah, let's go back first. Or better still, okay, this time around, instead of having it on your back, I want you to go like, say, split jerk position. Okay, so like, so start split jerk. Okay, so our bag, flip it over your hands, okay? Now, I love this one. I'm going to explain this one a lot, right? Because one of the things that we often use, okay, like when I'm with my sprinters, okay, we do a lot of overhead work because it does this. Okay, it immediately puts you into like a lumbar sacral neutral position, which means I've got good abs, and I'm stressing this to buggery because it's lengthened, right? So that means this has to work very, very hard in this in addition to the leg moving. So we're getting there's a saying that we love. It's called nerves that wire together, fire together. Yeah. Nerves that wire together, fire together. You heard me see? Okay, so from a sensory standpoint, okay, if his brain's like abs plus legs, okay, we're smudging these two things together, so when we're using legs, the body knows that it wants to use more abs. Does that make sense? All right, so, very good. I'm going to put this guy here. Good. You want to take like half a step back for me, dude? Very good. Okay. Eyes up. And you're ready, bro. Good. Okay. Now I want you to try to keep those arms nice and long as you go. Okay.
Hold the jack out.
Really good. Hold that jack. And good. One more
So
time.
another thing with learning is people learn by, as Andy's saying, the metronome audio cues.
Yeah.
So we want to hear your foot slam back on that thing. Yeah. Okay. So we need that slap.
Slap it a bit. Hey. One more time.
3 out of 10.
Good.
Nice.
Much better.
4.
It's 120 kilo jerk.
Better.
Last one. That's about 6.
I've got one more for you after this, all right? One more for you after this. Good. Okay. Now, really good. Now, 4 out of 10. Not bad. Now, this time around, okay, can I get you to go bag in front? Okay. And what you're going to do, as you step over, foot's going to land, jerk at the same time. Yeah, so foot, jerk. Foot, jerk. Foot. Not bad, okay. Better. Okay, really slap that down. I want to hear that 6 out of 10 like you did before. 6 out of 10. Better. Last one. Okay. Receive. And dip drive. Go. Not bad. Okay. Hard yakka, right? Yeah. Okay. But it's like, but you get that experience. Like you get that, right? Which is what we're trying to get. That is swing leg retraction in a nutshell. Okay. But once again, we're cultivating experience around these things. Okay. Would you like to give it a try, sir?
That's what I say.
Yeah, give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. And then we'll move on to the next one.
So try and imagine you're trying to pull that plate back, like a skateboard, right? Trying to
Skateboard.
And pull that plate back. So what?
Yeah. Do you want to try that? So go above head first. Get acquainted with it. Get acquainted with it. Good.
Nice.
All right, got a stick. Got a stick. Good intent. I like the intent. We've got a stick. Hold. 2. Good. 2. What? 1, 2. Good. Okay. 1, 2. Good. All right. Last one. 1, 2. Good. Not bad at all. How'd that feel?
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Yeah. So we mentioned vertical displacement. Like that. Like that. Right. So Andy's going to hold the stick
I am going to hold a stick.
above his head because I'm too short to do this. And you're going to go again. But now we'll make it a little bit more, again, running specific. So remember we talked about targets? So this whole thing about targets and like
Can I get you to go on your back,
endpoints
please,
and all
Jessica?
that?
Like just hold it on your back, because otherwise I'll knock it over.
Yeah.
So grab the
Targets,
outsides.
endpoints, it's
So
all
I'll bring it
targets.
down. Also the straps on the outside.
The
Sorry.
learning thing.
That one?
Yeah.
That's
That's the one.
Right? So Andy, do you want to quickly just explain just like why we use targets, the CLA?
Yeah,
that?
totally. Because what targets formulate, okay, you would have heard Buzz say no reps and all the rest of the stuff, okay? When it comes to like, I guess, essentially by using these targets and other things, we're just trying to, I guess, eradicate shitty reps. That's all we're trying to do. Because the thing is, like, a lot of the times, like, if you just let people persist doing it really, really poorly, what they're learning is how to do it really, really poorly, okay? So in this sort of case, by applying different constraints, okay, what we can do is actually incentivize them to produce a movement or produce something like that, which is more in line with what we want to see from like a KPI point of view, okay? So with this particular example, okay, we mentioned vertical displacement. So by having something above his head, okay, something that he has to avoid, okay, if he goes up and hits it, that's too much vertical displacement, all right? Because oftentimes, like as an athlete, okay, are you going to be able to sense your own vertical displacement? Like especially if you use that sort of verbiage, right? It's like, okay, I was too vertical there. It never happens, right? But if you can create an environment where it's known, okay, well, I guess we don't want this vertical displacement, for example, right? Okay, and that's indicated by the fact that I hit my head on this thing, and that is considered a no rep. Then I've got immediate feedback, I've got immediate knowledge of performance, okay, that drives my learning in that particular exercise. I need to calibrate what I then do as I explore different movement options with that. Does that make sense?
You know where the way around is.
Yeah, because like I said, if you don't know what the rules of the game are, I guess you can't play within it, right? So we're using, I guess, these constraints, we're using these boundaries to give them, I guess, almost like a solution space to actually to go between, right? This is the term that we use to like allow people to explore, okay? So you can do whatever you like, just don't hit your head on the thing, right? And we'll see what it goes from there. So if
There's no parameters in running.
that's right. It's so open.
Do the distance,
And that's it.
do the time, not like...
That's why when you go on Bayron Road, you just see some stuff next to them. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it's not constrained, you know? Whereas like, okay, has everyone played soccer here?
Yeah.
Okay, there are some people that I know from that play soccer that when they run like Gumbies. You put a ball at their feet, suddenly they're Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
Like it's just because they're used to sort of operating within the constraints. Same with rugby league, give them a ball in their hand, they run 0.2 faster.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, it just happens. You know, because they've learned how to operate under those constraints.
And it's going back to that neurons that wire together, fire together, and that's what the research is now on that cortical mapping. Like, it's just a lot of that dynamic systems research is there.
So just let's pause there, right? So the whole thing that we're concerned about as physios, which I feel like really does put a point of difference, we're concerned about learning. How do I teach this person to learn how to move better?
Yeah.
And so in order to do better learning, we have to play on motor control. How do we improve people's motor control, right? And we don't do that by telling people what to do. We do it by getting them to experience what it feels like. So for example, your first or second round, really crappy. But then when we don't tell you anything else except for don't hit this, you figure out, or you self-organize in a way that your body figures out how to move within that constraint. So we're more about the somatosensory experience. How do we give you this experience by either changing the task, put your foot here, stand back, now do it, now punch.
Yeah.
The environment, don't hit this, right? Or the organism, by putting an aqua bag on you, all of a sudden we're changing you, the person, okay? You're no longer just this stable being, you're like all over the place.
Yeah.
So that three thing, task, environment, organism, that's the constraint-led approach, and that's what we use to teach people how to move better. We don't tell them, we just get them to do it, look like Gumbies, get frustrated, but if you look at Huberman's podcast or any of the research, if you have a failure rate of 30%, where 70% of your reps are good, but 30% are crap, you get frustrated on the 30, you want to do better. So your body goes, hey, this is different, I'm going to learn how to move differently now.
Yeah.
That's what we care about.
Yeah. And like in
You're
there,
getting that adaptation from those lazy glute exercises.
Yeah.
totally.
So let's do the...
Yeah, let's give it a go. So I'm going to
after the 70-30 rule?
Yeah, 70-30. Yeah, that's the one. Because you want to have a bit of frustration.
Yeah,
You got to have a bit of
totally.
frustration.
Gotta make it
Because
a little bit
otherwise there's no
hard.
incentive to learn, right? It's just like, because like, what if like, okay, like imagine like you as a strength coach or anyone else say, just do something you can already do right now. What learning is there? Yeah, exactly
You're
right.
going to play FIFA on difficult.
Exactly right. Yeah, if I put this here, I'm going to do my best to hold that there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you
Just getting a sense.
Not bad. Different. Good. Well, I should have been holding that. My bad. Yeah.
Come.
Good.
Does that feel different already though? Like just even even the threat of it above your head,
Yeah.
okay, like is different.
It's
Okay.
like your sensei is right there and you're...
Do your kata. Do your kata. If Senzo Tanaka is your Shidoshi, you
Now
will.
turn to your left. Face your chest to me on the end.
Good.
Rip it out faster.
Not bad. Not bad at
That's
all.
hard. That's hard.
That's really good.
Do one more, but rip it faster.
All right. So, is it left, right now? Where are we at?
Yeah.
Left.
No, we're at this one.
Okay, very good. Do we need the same slam board, or is it another box?
Just do it.
Yeah, do it on a box. Okay.
Just do it to this.
Okay, very good.
And
So-
I'll get a total
Thank you, sir.
box.
Right, so now we're moving up in complexity again. Okay, we're trying to link, I guess, once again, that was a lot more dynamic, as you could probably see, okay, but now we're trying to get a bit more of a flowy state into it, okay? Like we're sort of like layering this level of complexity to something that's going to go ahead then and look like running, okay?
You can demonstrate.
Okay, so,
You'll do a punch. Forget you do a punch.
okay, that's this one here. This one. Thank you, sir.
Look to the camera.
Hello, camera.
Say cheese.
Say
Say cheese.
All right. So with this, we've got a little hurdle here, okay? Same sort of idea, we're sort of adding to it, okay? But now we're getting a bit of extra load, okay? We're gonna swing this one through, change, here we are, all right? So if I do that in real time, in arms, but we'll see how we go. Right, as we go on here. Yeah, man. Oh, sorry, other way. My bad, my bad. We're gonna go again. So right, from here, I'm gonna go this way, my bad. We're gonna go up, swing up. I went the same way. I went the same way again. Right, look at it all. So,
Wait, stay on your left, right leg.
stay on the right leg. That means I'm going that way.
So you're gonna punch to your left.
Okay.
Wait, stay with us a second.
Why am I forgetting this?
No, this is gonna be important.
Yeah, and then it's down and then going that way. Yeah.
You're gonna strike with
Yeah.
left. Yeah, that's better. Punch
Okay. Punch. There we go. Finally got it.
Yeah,
Over it.
against the push.
He's normally better at 7 a.m.
Yeah, geez. I was like, why did I forget that? Oh, I did it again.
Stay left leg. Punch.
Yeah. Start on the left side.
Guys, you go. Hold on.
This is like doing this.
Yeah, now tell me about it.
Like legit.
There we go. So on the left side one more time.
You're retracting. Yeah. Retracting that.
Nice.
Very
There
good.
you go. Bit faster. Bit further.
A bit further. Then to get this guy up. Okay. From here. Hold. Keep going. One more time. If I go here, up.
What is this testing?
So it's adding a little bit more, like to,
Okay.
yeah. Because if you watch like from here, this aspect as I come on down is the swing leg retraction component. But because I'm like getting these things here, I'm also getting like this transition from like how these two legs start working together. Okay, so I'm actually, it's not just about swing leg anymore, it's swing leg plus the next swing leg. Okay,
So the first drill we did was individual muscle. Remember that? Hanging on. The second drill we did was the what we just did then, which was the slant board. So now we're getting you to work on one joint, which is just the hip joint, but we're working some other stuff. Now we're going across multiple joints. So we're doing a couple of things here. We're going swing leg, another attractor, which is called a hip block, which we're not going to talk about today. But
We're here till Monday.
now, yeah, so now see how we're now linking them to. It's like a single stressor across. But I'm going to see how you guys go.
That's cool.
With it.
And again, you're using the environment to learn.
yeah.
Constraints.
It's okay, you possibly would talk a bit better than me. I'm the one that filmed the video too, I should have got that one better.
So if your left leg, a few things to think about here is you want to nail your right foot into the ground. Okay? So that right foot's going to hit the plate. You're going to nail it into the ground. So let's finish in the finished position, which is the end point. So, and you're going to punch that way. That's it. That's your finished position.
That's the
there.
finished one.
On your toe. On your toe.
Whew.
That's your finish. Okay? So go back and get to that finished position. So stand on your left, punch left. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Go for it. Just hold it here in front of you. And just punch left. Stand on your left leg. Now your foot in the ground. Punch left.
Hey, not
Nice.
bad.
All good. Cool. So what leg are we training?
Right leg.
Very good. Yeah. So tell me about it. What do you see?
After the swing up, he retracted that.
Yeah.
The plate.
Yeah.
Are you happy with his retraction? His final position? Or not?
So try again, yeah.
Keep going.
More
Like
on toes?
Mid-foot, forefoot.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, definitely.
Okay. What else?
Look at his height too.
What's retraction? What joint are we looking at? What's retraction about?
Hamstring.
The joint. What joint? Which joint?
Joint.
Hip joint.
Hip. Okay. So now look at his hip and tell me if you're good with the finished position.
I think that was a little bit better that time.
It was.
It was. He's looking now, he's like, what's my hip doing? What's my hip doing? You know?
Well, tell me about the hip position at the end of swing. Where it should be.
Extended.
Extended. Yeah. The first few reps is finishing like this.
Yeah.
Can I borrow this bed? That's
Yeah.
okay. Sorry. So I'm going to borrow this. I'm going to see if I can make you do it. All right? So can I do this guy across? Now this time around, as you go through, same thing that Buzz got you to do, right? But if I place this here, what I want you to do is that I want you to finish with your swing leg, okay, as it swings on up, above this bench, okay? But the thing is that I want you to try to hold it there and delay the time it takes for you to hit the ground for as long as you can, okay? So what I mean by that is that as you swing up, okay, you get here, you're like this, okay, you're up, hold, finish here. Okay, hold, finish there, okay? Like you're still punching that way though.
Just remember, swing leg retraction is about setting the leg up for impact. And the leg has to be extending, not just extending until contact, but continuing to extend, right? So that's what Andy's put now as a target.
And this will help straight leg.
Keep going.
Oh, that was good.
Ooh. Now I'm not going to adjust it too, so I want you to, because it's almost like I want you to use, so like that, so whatever you get from this is your setup into the next one, okay? So you've got to use what you get there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Really? Really?
Box jumps, just box jumps.
Now that foot in the ground. Okay, we can punch forward now. Now that foot into the ground.
Better, much better. So you got there, right? So like a couple of shitty reps to begin with, but then you learn more and more and more and more and more as you go.
Three to go.
Let's get that punch.
Much better.
Two to go.
Now I want you to imagine now there's a Coke can here, okay? And when you actually go in here, I don't want you to kick the Coke can. I want you to stomp the Coke can, okay? So you're going to delay, stomp the Coke can. Better.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Nailed it. You don't like Coke?
Oh, wait.
That's all right. I'll cop that. You know, but how do those last two reps feel? You try and delay and hold and then stand. Like, what does that feel like to you? Obviously different, but like.
Yeah, just more control. Just trying to just hold that position. Just emphasize the angles as well.
Hip extension.
Yeah. Do you feel your butt work harder?
So,
Yeah, good.
yeah, and so like if that's not working, we try a different cue, which might be, do that again. But this time, like with your left knee, try and get my hand.
So it's almost like Thai pads.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
With your left knee, hit my hand.
Good. Better intent. Like, see, even then, like the minute that you said like Thai pad, hit hand, there's a lot more punch in that
Go
knee.
again.
Okay, it's not.
Hands there, try and hit it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
Hands up, hands up.
Yeah.
So this is almost like an external healing.
Good. Two more.
Yeah.
Hands here, hit it.
But see how much easier that becomes when all those things start moving in play. So like everything links to everything else.
And we'll talk about what reflexes.
Damn, son.
Go, my hands there.
Very good.
You're on. So the reason why that felt easier is because you have a reflex ingrained in you from
When you're a baby,
when you're a baby. What's it called again?
cross extensor reflex,
Yeah, it's called a cross extensor reflex. So
which
when
is like that. So when you get this extension going this way across the body, it creates like this it's almost like because of like this stretch that gets created, it then results in the opposite. Yeah, it's the interaction of the opposite, right? Yes, it is.
I'll be
Oh, yeah.
aiming like this front.
Let's go, bro.
And yeah, which can you get some brain?
Good. All right, that's all right. We're getting there.
Go to the.
So we get the rep is squash the Coke can.
System training.
Getting there.
I still punch or do I punch?
Keep punching.
Yeah, keep punching.
Yeah.
With physics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of learning going on there.
Yeah, but see how like it's frustrating? It's like you try to sort of like get it, right? So like one of the things that often we always have to try and do is just resist the urge to just like butt in and like and try to like save you from your own suffering, right? But this is actually like where like the learning comes from. Okay, like it's from this frustration. Like how am I going to do this? Like it's you trying to like work it on out, and then like, but the constraints and everything in themselves, the exercise itself becomes a coach. Because we actually realise what works well and what doesn't, okay? Got 3 more, sir. There you go. Better. 2 more. That's better. Lucky last one. That's it. Not bad at all.
The first phase looks good.
Yeah.
It's the second part of it now. So now you're kicking the Coke can forward. Remember, you want to land on top of it, so you need
Squash
to
the
lay
Coke
the
can.
foot plank.
Okay, so that was soft. That's not squashing the Coke can. That's not squashing the Coke cans. That's it.
That was better.
Better.
Last chance.
It's almost like it's Bruce Lee. It's Bruce Lee in like in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah, totally,
It's
man.
hard.
Totally. Nice.
You want to
nice.
go? The last drill is the easiest. So
Yeah. The last drill is like I think you guys will get the last
You'll
drill.
get
But
around last drill.
It's like, yeah. I've watched you guys do it now. I don't even know what I'm doing.
try to just go punch forward for us this time. Like just punch forward as you go, but squash the Coke can. A natural whip there, my friend. Okay.
Just trying to get the movement.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool.
Trying to lay that foot plank.
Hold.
Wait, hold.
Yay. That's where it is.
Bit longer.
Bit longer.
Try and hover for like a second.
Like with all your might. Fight, fight, fight.
Fight.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more second. Nice.
Not bad.
You got one more second in there.
I'm jumping. Is that okay?
That's okay, no, because I mean, like, because you're transitioning, you're going, like, that's fine. That
Yeah,
gather
yeah.
is fine.
It's the holding.
Yeah,
To lay the foot
the
plank.
gather is fine. Better.
1, 2, good. Last one.
Something to work on.
Time to work
That's
on.
awesome. That's
That's
cool.
it. That's it.
It's new.
Lucky last one?
Left, left, right.
Left, left,
Now-
right.
Now we're now moving into total movement patterns.
Okay, so let's get this guy out of the
Now
way.
we're ready to run.
Yeah.
Because this particular person has the capacity, they have the ability to do it one joint and then multiple joints, which you just demonstrated. So now it's like, cool, let's run now.
So this is the dynamic
This is
system.
dynamic
Yeah.
systems approach.
We've gone through it very linearly. You know, I guess the beauty of the actual metric itself is that it is a spectrum. Okay, so like you sort of like can dive in wherever you feel is necessary depending on what's up. But yeah, this is the
And
fun
it's the
bit.
lens from running. Like
Yes.
it's applied to movements,
Yeah.
sports, running, everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would probably, you probably sit, if this is like, you know, where we are now, you're probably in that region, you know. Chris and I were probably at the start, you know, so Andy's probably at this part. So when it comes to like, oh, I've got knee pain or whatever, we're not going to go to Andy, all right, well, let's go all the way back. We might go, well, if you're still running, let's see where on the spectrum you lie, and let's start you right there. And then we move this way.
Why teach like, you know, you breathe, you still use
Hus-
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's so
I like that. And that's what our customers are going to prop, right?
Well, they don't feel like they're getting constrained by some dumb physio, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally. When they've invested so much and they understand, like they need you
Also, Buzz, can you get a
to
metronome up
get
for me,
them to
please?
the next level.
Just on your phone, Google metronome 180.
But
Okay.
you know, like
Um,
some people say about the standard of like the industry so low. Like how many people go, I don't want to say physics, they're going to tell me to stop running,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a better approach. That's where this stuff comes.
Just go buy better shoes. First.
Let's go to the base.
Lucky last one, guys, so that way we can, I guess, keep moving on with this thing. Now, left, left, right, super fun. I heard you mention A skips before. You mentioned A skips before.
Yeah.
Like, what, do you do any other drills yourself?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I just know what the elites do.
Yeah, A skip, A skip. Right, so now A skips, like I said, they're fantastic. Like, drills in of themselves, they're fantastic teaching tools, okay? Because they teach like how the body recruits force. They also teach, which is I think the most fundamental thing is timing, okay? But they also, certain drills will also accentuate certain aspects that we really want to drive on in, okay? Whether it's timing with contact with the floor, but most importantly for what we're discussing today is the swing leg retraction component. So what can we actually use to address this idea of swing leg retraction and pulling it back down to the ground? One of my favorites that we actually go through is something called left, left, right, okay? A left, left, right, okay, effectively it's 2 hops on the left, 1 down on the right, okay, and you're repeating that process, okay? So I'm just going to demonstrate it for you in real time, so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to talk you through the do's and don'ts, okay, because I see a lot of people do this in really, really bastardized versions. But the thing that's going to actually help with, especially like the transitional aspect of running, okay? So a left, left, right, okay, if I count it out, is left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. Watch the swing leg on that right side, okay? So the entire time, like it's on the left, left, right, my right leg is cocked, okay? It's in this position where I can hammer it into the ground, okay? I'm accentuating what the swing leg retraction looks like, okay? And that's the thing that I'm really enforcing, okay? What we don't want to see is we don't want to see that pause, because if you turn that metronome up, and this is where we can actually, this is actually probably the most effective teaching tool that I have for this particular exercise, is that I want to try to keep my left, left, rights at this pace. Okay, so it keeps that rhythm the entire time, okay? There's no pausing, I'm just carrying that same cadence throughout the entire time, okay? That's what the aim of the game is, right? Now, but you can see from the drill in of itself how it really accentuates that motion, okay? And then once we got that down, that's when we play. We get some bags, we punch some weights, we do some really, really funky stuff to build other aspects into it. That's at 180, you know? So yeah, I get people drill all the time.
You sound aggressive to like
Yeah. It's quick.
It's quick.
It's really quick. You know what I'm saying? So, let's give it a try. You want to come first? Yeah.
Let's go, lads.
So left, left, right. So almost I've got to be like a dance teacher. Say left, left, right, left, left, right. Left, 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 right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left. There we go. Steve, I saw you were getting at the end too. I was like, if you had 20 meters, you would have got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You would have got it. Right?
Try not to move horizontally as much just yet. We'll get to that when we need to bring in more tension on the hand.
Yeah, try to, yeah, try to, yeah, just.
Left,
Left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. Beautiful. 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 You know, but you can see already like what that's sort of generating, right? It's like it's really getting that timing, it's really getting that swing leg going. It's the extension of all the dynamic things that we did prior all feeding into one, okay? Which is like, it's a beautiful exercise really, okay? And then, yeah, and then we mess it up by making you do right, right, left. You know, but like
the other thing that clear up, some of the knees aren't getting.
There's I think the one thing I saw was knees, and the one thing I saw was heads.
Okay,
So can I do the head one first?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people, okay, I saw a lot of like follow the foot. Okay, there's a lot of what is following on now. So I'm going to make you go the opposite way. Okay. So can I borrow you for a second, Seth? That's okay. Now this time you're going to hold this guy out in front of you. Okay. And what you're going to do is on your left, left, right. Okay. On your right, you're going to punch back. Does that make sense? So every right you're going to punch up. Okay, and then bring it back down. So it's. And you're bringing it back down, okay? So, left, left, right, left, left. Yeah, that's it. Better. Now see how that keeps him really, really tall? Good. You know? So it could, yeah. You know? So it automatically keeps him very tall. Now the reason, like, we actually mess around with this a lot in trackland, like so with a lot of these overhead constraints. But the minute that I start like putting my hands up into the air, okay, my body wants to go down. Okay, so in order to overcome that, I've got to hit harder with that leg to keep me tall. Okay, because something is pushing me down. How do I overcome that? And that's what you actually did. Okay, so everyone wants to give that a try. Okay, left, left, right punch. Good, good. But even then, like just by the fact of you just being taller, it shapes your position so much better, okay? Now one more time, but I want you to try to keep to this metronome, okay? So really, really quick, really seamless. Better, good. Okay, and see how it stays nice and tall, right? Yeah. Okay, you're almost like hearing your feet too, though, nice and crisp. They're getting off the ground really quick. It's really active, okay? But I haven't told you to do any of those things, okay? It happened by virtue of the exercise itself. You up, sir?
Big Steve.
So start it with your chin and punch every third. Yep. But you can kind of see when that doesn't happen.
I was going on the stars like that.
It's alright, it's on camera.
Left, left, right.
It's good learning. Man.
Left, left, right, left, left,
Keep
right.
your right knee up first.
Yeah, like keep it cocked, yeah. That's not too bad. That was actually a lot better than your first one, because I think when you were less constrained, you sunk a hell of a lot more. You know. Now the other thing that I also get you to do, so one more time with you, sir, is I guess we have. I guess if I want to really geek out, there's this thing. It's called steady gaze theory. Okay, it's actually giving your eyes a fixed point. So when you think about your Mara guys, often road guys, I will tell them to look as far as their eyes will take them, okay, and let their peripheral look after the rest, and fixate around like something that's in the distance, okay, at the very least from like 6 foot onwards, okay, because I know that if their eyes are up and they follow their eyes, they're going to get a nice forward lean going for the most part, right? If they're looking at their feet, they follow their feet, okay, and the trajectory is low. So in this case, I almost want you to find, okay, see that remote, I guess the remote above the hanger where the little screen is, keep your eyes on that the entire time and keep it in the center of your vision. Don't let it go up or down, just keep it in the center. Better. See how there's far less dropping even there? Like, okay, yes, the left, right's got out of whack a little bit, but there was far less of like this other business, okay? And we'd much prefer that, right? But there's that, but see how you, like, even then, like, I know it's taken a few times, but there's a lot more gathering of information. You're sort of getting it the more you go. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's turn that off because it's hitting my ears.
And then really,
And it's smoother.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel smoother.
Totally,
like,
totally.
Pull your, like, really work with retraction is now move through faster.
Yeah.
Rather than doing it slow where you're tapping on the ground, you actually need to like pull the ground underneath you. So it's left, right out and pull under. And then you start pushing forward. So you start pulsing. Do you want to show them?
Yeah, so like in this instance, right? So if I go left, right, so instead of it being like a very much a vertical affair that I can stay here on, like you can see like,
He's now like,
yeah, like it moves, ba, ba, ba. So that's the idea, okay? So, yeah.
That's cool.
I'll do one more time.
Here we go.
Yeah, so it's almost like every third pulse. So you want to cover ground in every third one. Good, see that? See that?
Yeah.
But you see how almost like, yes, it's very much exaggerated when it comes on through, right? It's good. It's good. That feel different? Yeah, definitely, right? Nice and tall. Good, good, good. Not bad.
So how do we improve that?
Yeah, because you got.
How do we see it?
Yeah, first. Yeah, what was the difference?
So remember what retraction is? Retraction. So what happens with this? Comes here, comes out, comes under.
Yeah.
What was happening was it was
In
coming
front.
here
And just come down.
and just coming back. Right? So there wasn't any retraction, it was just extension of the knee.
Yeah.
We want him to still reach over and back. So think about that plate, and you're coming over. There you go.
What I love the most though when I get people to do this is get them to do it over a skipping rope.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because if you get them over a skipping rope, the skipping rope one, I made Chris do it, and yeah, it was fun. But I guess the thing is that the much like the metronome gives you an external like cue to follow through, but if you fail, you get whipped by the thing, right? So if your ground contact time is too long, okay, if you're not quick off your feet, if you're not keeping elevated, if you're not staying tall and keeping all those running postures and everything else. You don't have that bounce. You think about boxers, right? They're just like so stiff and reactive in what it is they do, right? Those are great qualities to have as a runner. They're super great qualities, you know. But it's also a way that we can learn to entrench and ingratiate those things. You know?
Oh, boys, mind blowing. That's
super fun.
That's epic.
You guys feel a little bit more confident on this?
Well, yeah, because I was going to say the one thing that we haven't addressed, and I know I'm just looking at my watch, but the one thing that we haven't addressed is like the fit and the static tests.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is another deep dive.
Look, I can just tell you what I would do if that would help you. Okay, because in this instance, right? Okay, like the one probably the easiest thing that I would look for from a static test, looking behind. Okay, I don't really give a crap about fat fleets, to be honest with you, especially when they're static. I honestly don't. Okay, I would typically look for from behind the orientation of the Achilles. Okay, because if I see a straight Achilles and a flat foot, I don't care. You'll just get a straight lasted shoe. You'll get something relatively neutral, in my opinion. Okay, but if I see like say a curve in the Achilles, a little bit like this, which is a little bit more like very like sort of inversion based, okay, and I start to see them walk, and I start to see a lot of this like twisting and turning in.
So you need socks off.
Yeah, totally. I get socks off for sure, you know. But even then, like say, like it's. If those people that I guess are really sort of dropping through, at the very, very least, they're still getting a very, very straight lasted shoe, like Clifton, Bondi. I know in the old days it was like Addiction and Beast, which was the thing. Let's get big dual density on the inside and all the rest of the stuff. I just think what ends up happening is that they ride the inside of those dual densities too much, and they actually blister up, and it actually becomes less comfortable, for the wearer. But like I said, anything that's usually straight last is more accommodating because you're at least the shoe is then matching the surface area of the foot. Okay, if those sorts of people, those like what we call like the pes planus people, the ones that have those really flat, like almost like Filipino Islander feet. And stuff like that, you know, those sorts of people, we see the toes almost like going out like this. Okay, sure, they might need a little bit more support, but they're usually innovated by a podiatrist. I mean, like nowadays, like you tell me, like GT 2000, is that still built on a semi-curved last, or what's that on?
We don't even sell it.
Okay, even better, you know, because what would be your stable shoe? Kayano's the most stable you got.
Yeah, Kayano.
The new ones though,
Yeah, I know they're a lot straighter now.
Yeah, they are a lot straighter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Adrenaline GTS.
Is that straight now, or is that is Addiction still on the market?
Addiction is, we don't sell it.
Okay, no, it's because it's not a runner's running shoe.
Curved alley or curved?
Sorry?
Is it curved last?
Oh, so the old curved last. So if you think about like more like Nimbus 14, like back in the day, they used to make them because the theory was that the curved last, I guess all the cushioning was on the outside of the foot because those people that had really, really like high arches were like supinatory. Okay, so they used to build like a last that was shaped to the foot and it would almost like bow out like that. So back in the old days, like Asics used to have like a guidance line that would lead towards toe off, okay, and that's the one that we used to put them in. Yeah, everything's pretty straight nowadays. So I think for the most part, you're otherwise fine. But from a static fit, like I said, even your pes planuses, okay, like the ones, I lie. Anyone who's got like straight Achilles, flat foot, gets a straight lasted shoe, okay, and that's usually, I guess, and support is dependent on what they feel better in. Because if you say go 1260, and they go, oh, this was really, really good versus 1080, give them a 1260. You know, so like that, or if they're like, oh, okay, I like Bondi, I don't like Clifton. Fine. Okay, because Bondi is pretty much a souped up Clifton. Okay, it's got a bit more of that guide raily sort of feel. It's a lot wider through the midfoot. It's going to be a lot more stable. Happy days. Cop that every single day of the week, right? But I generally find for a lot of the shoes nowadays, they cover a lot of the old obstacles that we used to have selling shoes. Okay, so it's a lot safer. I would say putting people in like a generic pair, unless like there's real major constraints. Like the big things that I probably have the most issues fitting is things around like this really rigid Paz Cavis type foot type. So like there's like the really, really high foot type, really, really high arches. That too, but it's primarily depth.
Generally,
Yeah, it's Cinderella foot. 100%. They're super stiff. And because they need lots of cushioning because they need space and room in the volume. So I guess really those are the fitting requirements around there based on volume. Because they're like more supinate, like a cushion-based straight lasted shoe, okay, or even like something that's built on a semi-curved last will do very, very well, okay. So like 880, Cumulus, Nimbus, Glycerin, yada, yada, yada does well. The only major issue that you have is on depth. So if they've got really, really high arches and the bridge of their foot is hitting to the top of the shoe, it's 880, it's like anything that's like that promotes a little bit more depth, okay? Or you just mess around with the laces and do high volume lace and
What about wear patterns?
Wear patterns, okay. If we go back to the swing leg retraction stuff, the people that generally don't swing leg retract, okay, and if it's a lot easier to spot if it's not an everyday shoe.
Yeah.
So when they don't swing leg retract, they will crash into the side of their heel, okay. And like even like in most like I don't forget, I might have to revise me on all the tech, but like the old tech used to use like a harder abrasion rubber on the back corner of the shoe for a lot of the heel landing type business, and they used to allow for it, okay? Yeah. But most people, like I said, when they don't have that swing leg retraction, they go bang, bang, okay? That's usually where they spend a lot of their wear pattern. And generally speaking too, it's right in the middle in the ball of their foot, okay? Because usually what's happening there as they're going on through, what wears down the wobbler isn't the rolling, it's the twisting. So they go here and twist into pronation. Yeah. That's where the wear pattern comes from. So it's in the center towards the big toe as well. So outside edge of the heel, right in there. Okay. So if they've worn down, like say, like a carbon rubber, hard abrasion rubber type, like because like Asics was AHA or wherever the crap it was, right? But I've seen guys blow through Continental and some of these other brands too, just because that rubber doesn't like this. It's meant for that. Okay, it doesn't like a whole lot of this, you know. So like any type of like spot wearing, like circular spot wearing, is a sign of rotation, and they're pivoting, especially around the ball of the foot. Yes. Okay, they're sort of crashing through pronation, and they're not quite sure how to contend for that. And like you say, and more times than not, that's probably because their foot's spending too much time on the ground. The more time their foot spends on the ground, the more it's going to pronate. Okay, that's why I find like pronation is less of an issue if your cadence is good and your swing leg retraction is there, because your foot gets off the ground quicker. It doesn't have enough time to pronate. So yeah, 1080s, bro. They're shit. Actually, one of my favorite shoes, bro. Like I work in a pair. Oh, nice. But I love them. Yeah, like I didn't like the new one because like the upper was a bit weird, but like as a work shoe,
there's a new one.
They look fresh.
14.
Yeah, they look fresh.
Well, can I take a photo real quick before we wrap up? Just grab an apple bag and something and just grab this shot.
I haven't had a chance to talk shoes in ages. This is great.
We'll go here. It's fine. Yeah.
They're the boys.
Maybe get closer. We can. Yeah, that's it. Get it.
Short guy. Oh, we're standing. Oh, dang it.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm getting short now, man.
All right. Just get down low, bro. All right. Something else. Maybe hold it above there or something.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get closer. Get closer. Yeah. That's it. All right. Done. That's it.
Boys, amazing. Thank you so much. Bro, appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir. Much, guys. That was great. A lot of fun.
Good. All good. My pleasure. Thanks for coming. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Hey, that was
Great hamstring test.
Yeah. that was another level. Because like.